It looks like the tism is the thing of the past. Holy. And the fact that it was seemingly cured with a cheap epilepsy drug like epilepsy and autism, I know they aren't necessarily close, but it's little unique defects in the brain, so it's wild that it took so long in order to connect the dots, mostly because, well, autism just kind of affects young boys more so than anything else, so maybe that's why it took them so long to come around to this. But anyways, this is a great thing. It really is 1000%. Scientists are reporting a breakthrough discovery. A $3 per pill epilepsy drug may be used to switch off autism symptoms in mice. All right. According to a new peer-reviewed study published Tuesday in Molecular Psychiatry Journal, autism spectrum disorder, just expert Rubik's Cube solver disease, is a complex developmental condition that impacts how an estimated 5.4 million, 2.2% of adults, and 1 in 44 children, I thought it was higher than that now because these broads are just popping out kids older and older, is often accompanied by abnormalities, such as epilepsy and hyperactivity. Okay, according to CDC, whatever. Team of experts at Germany's Hector Institute for Translational Brain Research found that medication lamotrigine, an anti-seizure drug, first approved for use. Wow, it's just hard to talk sometimes. In the United States in 1994. It's been around for a minute. It was also able to curb behavioral and social problems linked to the disorder. Yeah, that's pretty significant. What are the signs and symptoms of the tism? I know it's aversion to touch, not being able to pick up on social cues, and having an affinity for a Mo Howard haircut. Like, outside of that, I'm not entirely sure about everything. And other findings have been hyped as the closest thing yet to a potential cure for humans. Apparently, a drug treatment in adulthood can alleviate brain cell dysfunction and thus counteract the behavioral abnormalities typical of the tism. Lead researcher and cellular biologist Moritz Moll told in a statement, "This occurs even in the absence of MYT1L, has already impaired brain development during the developmental phase of the organism." Can you say it in less medical jargon, okay? If you will. Lamotrigine, also sold under the brand name Lamictal. I don't know drugs. Such a square. Among others, is a medication used to treat epilepsy, stabilize mood in those who suffer from bipolar disorder. Interesting. You never thought to test it on the tism. The drug, which typically sells for under $3 per pill, works by reserving changes in brain cells caused by a genetic mutation. Scientists have spent years intensively researching for molecular abnormalities that contribute to ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and have identified MYT1L protein as the one that plays a role in various neuronal diseases. Protein is so-called transcription factor produced by almost all the nerve cells in the body that decides which genes are or are not active in the cell. It also protects the identity of the nerve cells by suppressing other developmental pathways that program the cells towards muscle or connective tissues. Cool. Mutations of the protein have previously been linked to other neurological diseases and brain malformations. Well, if this drug helps all of them, that's a tremendous discovery. Test impacts the protein of autism symptoms. Researchers have HITBR genetically switched off MYT1L in mice and human nerve cells. Oh, okay, cool. They have found that this led to electrophysiological hyperactivation in the mouse and human neurons, impairing nerve function. Mice lacking it looks like mitral to me. Okay, we're going to call it mitral from now on. Suffered from brain abnormalities and showed severe behavioral changes typical of ASD. So they would only eat the pellets in their cage in a certain order? Interesting. Such as social defects or hyperactivity. Researchers noted that most striking reaction to the discovery that the mitral deficient neurons produced extra sodium channels that are typically restricted to cells in the heart muscle. Interesting. So you have neurons in the brain that are acting like cells in the heart. Very strange. Very, very strange. These proteins are critical for electrical conductivity and cell function, as they allow sodium ions to travel through the cell membrane. Okay, now it's starting to make a little bit more sense. Cell nerves that overproduce these sodium channels can result in electrophysiological hyperactivation, a common symptom of the tism. When mitral deficient nerve cells were treated with the L word, Their electrophysiological activity returned to normal. In mice, the drug has even been able to curb. It's not a chick on a date, it didn't curve anybody, but it curbed ASD-associated behaviors such as hyperactivity. Cool. These promising results come as autism rates have skyrocketed in the New York City metro area. Imagine that. I wonder why. Autism diagnoses have tripled in New York and New Jersey metro area from 1% in 2000 to 3% in 2016. It's probably closer to 5, 6, maybe even closer to 10% now because, well, the quote-unquote experts out there continue to tell women that, oh yeah, you can just go ahead and pop out those kids and we can continue to fumble around with genetics. Just freeze your eggs and have your kids pop out of your old vagina at the age of 50. Nothing will possibly go wrong. It is believed that as part of the drastic increase in these diagnoses is due to the growing number of diagnoses in children without intellectual disabilities and therefore are less likely to have been identified previously. But if they don't have any symptoms and you just think that they have autism anyways, maybe you guys are just pumping the numbers. I don't know. But earlier, the more accurate diagnosis didn't completely explain the upward trend, which was based on estimates from the CDC. Experts have warned the growing trend of women giving birth later in life may be partly responsible to the rise. Yo, shout out to this guy for actually talking about the relevant topics and the relevant issues. Meanwhile, clinical human trials studying legotrimines, maybe impact on MYT1L are being planned, and while the research is currently limited to mice, the results are promising. Researchers stressed. Hell yeah. Yo, man, I don't want to see anybody down bad like that. It's like it's a big joke all over the internet that, you know, you got those internet autists that'll just go down there and dig deep on a certain topic and come out with the results. And while that's all useful and stuff, hey man, having those social side effects and then what else? The aversion to certain bright lights and other neurological stimulants, that could be a bit tough. So if they found a way to effectively, safely, actually safely, not safe and effective, you know, like that other thing. If they found a workaround for that, well, hey, a bunch of young boys' lives have just changed for the better. And speaking of one young boy who just got another year older, it's my birthday today, so I'm going to go celebrate. So y'all have a fantastic rest of your evening. And with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.